Hello and welcome back to Learn Energy Healing. Today I'm going to be talking about a visual technique you can use for healing. It's a very powerful technique. It's a technique that many people have used to heal their broken backs, even though doctors have been telling people that they will never walk again or that they will never have movement in a particular part of the back again. A lot of people have used this technique to be able to walk again and get more movement in their spine, but also with other physical issues, other diseases, other issues with organs or joints as well. So it's a very powerful technique. So from my point of view, this is what Joe Dispenza used to heal his back after he was told that he would never walk again. So do not underestimate this technique at all. It's very powerful. At the same time, also realize that you need to put the effort in. It's not something that's going to work straight away for the majority of you. It's something that is very powerful if you put the effort and the time and the consistency in. So first I'll talk about how you can use it yourself on your own body, and then later on we can talk about how you can use it with other people. So essentially, this technique builds on top of the Goenka style of vipassana meditation I talked about in an earlier video. So if you've been practicing the Goenka style of vipassana meditation, so in other words, scanning your body and seeing what you can feel, then that really helps with learning this technique I will teach today. So please do go back and watch the earlier video or find any other video on Goenka style of vipassana, because that style of meditation can really help you start over time to feel your body in more and more detail. Very useful for a base for this technique. So with this technique, we are going to be using visualization and feeling at the same time. So if you don't really know the anatomy of your body very well, it's useful you get some pictures so that you can get a better appreciation of what the particular part of your body you would like to heal looks like. So I've had a couple of ladies recently who've had injuries to their lower back where they struggle to walk, and that's disc injuries, intervertebral disc injuries in their lower back, their lumbar spine. So what I'll do today is I will use that as an example. So I'll put up a picture at a later date when I finish the video of some example anatomy pictures of the lumbar vertebrae. Okay, so imagine you got an injury there in your lumbar vertebrae, maybe a herniated disc, maybe one of your facet joints has got a problem with it, maybe there's some compression where the nerves go down through the vertebrae, an overgrowth of bone, maybe they're fusing together, whatever it may be. If that's the part of the body that you would like to do some healing on, get as many anatomy pictures as you can from different angles, so maybe a picture from the front of the body, the back of the body, the side of the body, at different angles so that you can get a better appreciation of how that part of the body looks in 3D. If you are lucky enough or already have some software where you can view the body in 3 dimensions, some software where you can rotate the image and look at it at different angles, even better. Okay, but it's not necessary. And essentially what we're doing with this technique is we are learning how the anatomy should look, and we are trying to feel all of the different things in the pictures that we can see. So as you can see, we're combining the vipassana, the Goenka style of vipassana meditation, where we scan the body and see what we can feel, with imagery. So as you get better at seeing and knowing what that part of your body looks like, so in this case the lumbar spine, and you can picture in your mind better and better how it looks without having to look at the picture. And especially if you can rotate the picture in your mind in different directions so that you can see it from lots and lots of different points of view in your mind. And you can hold that image nice and still and clear without your mind jumping to some other picture or changing the color of your picture. If you can really hold the picture of your lumbar spine perfectly, that's when the magic starts to happen. What you may notice is that the more you can picture a perfect lumbar spine and imagine that that spine is your spine, whether in front of you, so you can imagine yourself in front of you and doing healing work as if you were somewhere else, or whether that lumbar spine is in your body and picturing it where it is, doesn't really matter, one or the other. The more you can get a perfect picture of a healthy lumbar spine, the more your physical body will start to become the picture of the perfect spine. I hope that makes sense. So it doesn't matter whether you picture yourself away from you as if you are someone else in front of you working on someone else, or whether you are picturing your own lumbar spine where it is, doesn't really matter. The more you can get a picture of your spine, the more you can keep it still, the more you can make it as perfect as possible without your mind jumping to some other picture or another part of your body. That's when the magic happens. That's when you start to tell your body, this is how I would like my lumbar spine to be. And if you've been doing the vipassana meditation for some time and you are getting quite good at feeling into your body, into the different organs or the different blood vessels and muscles and tendons, then you will already have an appreciation of how, just by tuning into a part of your body and feeling into it, that automatically blood starts to flow to that area. You automatically turn on your nervous system. You attune yourself to feel that area better and better. And if you've been doing it for many, many months, then you may notice that you can feel so much more detail in that particular area of your body that you have been tuning into. That's just by you intending to feel a particular part of your body. Your body literally responds by saying, oh, okay, you want to feel that area of your body more, do you? Okay, let's grow more nerve cells then, so that you can sense that part of your body better. And of course, the more nerve cells that are there, the more cell signaling molecules are coming off those nerve cells that are telling the muscle or the bone to be a certain way. So literally paying attention to a particular part of your body, whether by vision or by feel, doesn't really matter. You are literally sending love, essentially. You are literally encouraging that part of the body to be how you would like it to be. So when you combine the imagery of the lumbar spine being perfect, and you're trying to feel every little part of each bone in the lumbar spine and each part of the intervertebral discs and the facet joints at the back and where the nerves travel in the middle of the vertebrae and where the nerves come out the side holes, and the blood vessels as well, and where the muscles attach onto the bone. The more you can feel, the easier it is to see a perfect image and vice versa. Okay? So as the picture gets clearer and more perfect in your mind's eye, you will find that it's easier to feel what you see. And also, the more you feel the different parts of the lumbar spine, it's easier to picture it too. And what you can do is, if you are not sure that you're getting a perfect image, of course, go back to your anatomy pictures and see, okay, is that how I'm seeing it? How perfect am I getting that imagery? And is there any part that I haven't really been imagining in my mind? And can I feel that part too? So this is essentially the idea, very powerful, something that I encourage you to practice if you do have an issue with your physical body. As a healer, I can definitely create a lot of momentum and create some positive changes for you especially if you have multiple sessions with me. But I always give people this as homework when they have a physical issue, because I know that if they can practice this particular technique I'm teaching now, they can practice it for many, many hours every day without having to pay a healer. And of course, in the long run, it becomes more and more powerful, and eventually they don't need a healer. And of course, not many people can afford to pay a healer, every day, twice a day for an hour or so. Far more powerful if you can work on your own lumbar spine or whatever other part of your body for several hours a day and really feel into it, really picture it, and do that every day and do it consistently, rather than try and find the funds to pay a healer to do that for you every day. Okay, almost forgot to tell you about the process and how it might feel. So when you are starting to scan a particular body part, one thing that can happen is pain or other forms of discomfort that weren't there originally, or it getting worse. So in the case of accidents, in the case of injuries, there may already be pain there or a different form of discomfort there. So when you start to scan that particular part of the body and your nerve cells grow and your immune cells start to remodel the tissues, it can be uncomfortable. You can have more pain initially when that happens. And it can also be, for example, if you didn't have an injury, say, your lumbar spine doesn't really have any pain, but you've been told, from a scan that you've had, or from an osteopath or a chiropractor, for example, that, you've got degradation in your spine, that the discs are shrinking, maybe because of poor posture and poor nutrient intake over the years, who knows? But if there's no pain, then you can get pain from this technique because you are starting to repair the area and start to sense into the area and start to sense things that you previously couldn't. So pain, discomfort isn't necessarily a problem getting worse, it's just part of the process. Having said that, if you do have pain and you didn't have pain before and you don't really know what's going on with that particular part of the body, then this is where, your National Health Service and your doctors can be of use. Whether or not that you agree with, the National Health Services of your particular country or not, just bear in mind that they can be very useful for ruling out certain problems, for giving you information on what might be happening there. And that can give your mind some peace, knowing that it isn't a particular other problem, or just, confirming what you already feel is happening there. You don't have to follow their advice necessarily, but in some circumstances, it is actually better to follow their advice. So sometimes, the path of least resistance is, like in the case of my collarbone here, I had a titanium plate put in and then later taken out via an operation, which was definitely the path of least resistance for that particular injury I had. So don't negate the National Health Services because of, all the stories of all the problems that have happened through the National Health Services. They can still be of use in certain ways, and I do recommend you get things checked out if you're not sure what's going on with any particular physical injury or disease that you might have. And even if you use their services in whatever way, then you can still apply this technique on top of that as well and benefit from that as well. So in the case of my broken collarbone that got smashed up into 5 pieces from mountain biking many years ago, I had the operation. There's no way those 5 pieces of bone, I think, would have got into such a good state without the operation. I think it really helped in the end, even though they had to cut through the skin and cut some nerves in the process. And I had to sort of work through scar tissue with soft tissue techniques over many years. So, me applying this particular technique I'm suggesting to you today to my collarbone has greatly helped improve it much, much further than the operation, or the operation, should I say, alone would have. Okay. So yeah, so bear that in mind. This process can cause more pain and discomfort when you start to do it, but gradually over time, as things improve, the pain will gradually go, and hopefully that particular disease or injury you've had will no longer be a problem. If there's any questions, please let me know in the comments or email me separately. And remember, I'm not a doctor or surgeon or therapist of any kind. Okay, so bear that in mind. This is just information. And I will see you in the next Learn Angie Healing video. Please do like and subscribe if you like to support this channel. Okay, and see you again.